former American Pie actress has some harsh words for Donald Trump and his immigration policies, not to mention the American people. Welcome back to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. The past few days have seen an explosion of immigration activity in the United States as Trump continues his immigrant purge of the country. As he does, he and his administration continue to blame immigrants for everything from the unemployment rate to pet loss, because, as we will all remember, immigrants love eating cats and dogs. This is where American politics is, people. In case you missed it, late last week, J.D. Vance threw this whopper on the pile.
A massive increase in immigration and a massive increase in housing prices. And we have to be honest about that. Well, I see one of our nice representatives out here wants to actually, I guess, continue to flood the country with illegal immigrants, making your communities and citizens unaffordable.
And as if that was not bad enough, there's also the case of Mahmoud Khil, a student at Columbia University that has not been charged with a crime, but whom the Trump administration arrested for deportation to his native Syria. Khil supported pro-Palestinian protests on the Columbia campus last year, and the Trump administration has accused him of anti-Semitism. They have yet to provide any proof of that charge, which, incidentally, is also not a crime, it's just really gross. And Khil is being held in an undisclosed location without contact to his wife or lawyer. For more information on that case, check out our other videos here on the channel. Over the weekend, Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act, a law that grants the president power to deport non-citizens in wartime. We're not at war, but hey, who's paying attention in Washington? A judge issued an order blocking Trump's use of the law to deport accused members of a Venezuelan gang to a gulag in El Salvador. Trump ignored the order, calling it illegal. So yes, in case there was any doubt, we are now in a full-blown constitutional crisis. When confronted about the mass deportation in violation of the court order, here's what Border Czar Tom Homan had to say about the situation.
It doesn't look like you're getting support from the Democrats on this. You're going against the judges now. What's next?
Another flight every day. Teams are going to be out there every day. Every day, the men and women of ICE are going to be in the neighborhoods of this nation arresting criminal, illegal alien, public safety threats, and national security threats. Lawrence, you're not going to stop us. We made a promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise to the American people. We're going to make this country safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work for the greatest president in the history of my life, and we're going to make this country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks.
Someone really ought to tell him that when you love your job so much you start doing things that are illegal, you might want to change careers. Now we've learned of yet another story of jaw-dropping cruelty and stupidity on the part of immigration officials in the United States, this time involving a Canadian. Actress Jasmine Mooney. If you don't know her name, you might know her face. She's an actress with a good number of credits to her name, including the TV series Loudermilk and iZombie, as well as the American Pie sequel Burn Book. Though a native of Vancouver, she's had a work visa here in the United States and spends most of her time in Los Angeles. Earlier this month, when returning to the U.S. from Mexico, she was arrested by immigration agents. Mooney's visa apparently had been incorrectly revoked due to a clerical error. Thus, the actress spent 12 days in ICE detention centers. Take a look.
I can't even process what just happened because there was no heads up. Next thing you know, I'm taken and for 2 weeks haven't been told anything, moved in different cells, sleeping on cement, sleeping in different jail cells. Like, it just, nothing makes sense to me, and I'm still trying to process the entire situation.
Mooney was transported from Arizona to San Diego before returning to Canada. She didn't speculate if her detainment was related to the trade war between Canada and the U.S., but BC Premier David Eby said last week that the story reinforces the anxiety many Canadians are feeling about the strained relationship between our two countries.
Now, it's important to remember, Mooney is not the only person suffering this kind of treatment. Here on the channel, we've reported on whole families, including one 10-year-old girl recovering from cancer who is actually a U.S. citizen, held in such facilities and deported with her non-citizen parents. Mooney is Canadian, and yes, because she is a white woman, there's a temptation to say she's getting special attention. But here's what that assumption misses. Mooney had what she thought was a legal visa, and she tried to enter the country legally. She approached a border agent, the same as an American citizen would crossing into the country, and yet, rather than tell her she had an invalid visa or that there was a problem and just turn her away, border agents arrested her. So no, she was not in the country illegally. She was not in the country at all. And still this happened. U.S. citizens deported, legal residents deported, legal residents arrested for trying to legally enter the country. If ever there was a question about the humanity or logic of Trump's immigration enforcement, we now have answers. It's just ridiculous. And it's only going to get worse the more time that passes. On the upside, somewhat, Trump's defying of court orders is a full-blown crime. That's not surprising from a convicted felon and rapist. 2 months into office, and already the Congress has had enough to proceed with impeachment. The cabinet also has enough to invoke the 25th Amendment. The real question is this. What will it take for our elected officials to act? I wish I knew. Keep up the pressure on your elected officials, and keep the faith. Make sure your voice is heard. This is Occupy Democrats.